So we're going to start with the balls on the back of our skull, on that occipital bone. So if you've got your sock, can't even talk after that bypass. If you've got a sock handy for your balls, you can do that. Catherine, you don't need to. Franklin balls will stay better. But if you're using the small high bounce balls, up to you. Makarlu will stay in place very nicely. We're just going to cross the back of our skull and then lie down. So you've got 2 balls there, and just take a minute to breathe. We're going to breathe in through our nose and then out through our mouth, and try and get your breath to fill up your tummy rather than the top of your chest. So directing your breath down into your tummy. And as you breathe out, feeling your tummy just shrink down a little. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. 2 more breaths like that. All right, then we're just going to take a little nose nod. So you take your nose and down towards your chest, and then you lift your nose up towards your chin.
Can you hear that?
What is that?
Yeah.
Is that?
Dixon playing with toy.
Okay. Righto. I might just mute that delightful sound. There we go. I'm like, that's a baby I haven't heard before. Okay. All right. So just nodding your nose. And lifting. Just gently massaging through the back of your head, obviously. But this is the point where lots of the muscles in the back of your neck attach into your skull. So it's a good spot to do if you have a sore neck, or if you've been sitting too much in a not ideally optimized work from home setup. Okay, then we're going to find a midpoint between nodded and lifted, and then just turn your head from side to side. Okay. Then let's take the balls. We're going to do our shoulder releasey ones. So the ones where we go either side of our spine, in between your spine and your scapula on each side. Today we're going to start towards the top of our shoulders and work our way down. Just for something different, Go the opposite way to normal. Catherine, with the Franklin balls, you might want to have a pillow behind your head. That option is available to anyone else also who wants it. So once you've got them in the right spot, then, because we're starting near the top of our shoulders today, you might want to lift your hips up in the air to go a little deeper. If you do that, take the pillow out from behind your head while your hips are up high. Then we can add just some arm openings and come overhead with your palms facing your face. And taking your arms up and over. Okay. Then we want the balls to travel down our back a little bit. So we're going to take our body up the mat a little bit to a new spot. Whenever we get to a new spot, we just take a moment to assess. What does this feel like here? Is it enough that I just lie here and do some nice deep breaths and allow the balls to kind of melt into my muscles and my muscles to melt over the balls? Might be enough for you. You might want to cross your hands over your chest and then just rock a little from side to side. Or you might like to add your arm movements in again, the openings, and taking your hands overhead. Entirely up to you. And then we'll move down a little bit more. And just assess again what you need to do. Choose the option that's right for your body in that spot. And then moving down one more time. Okay. Just give you a second. Finish up there. All right. The next spot that we're going to do is where your low back and your pelvis meet. So again, one either side of your spine, right down really low. You can have your pillow if you want to. And just allow your pelvis to rock over the top of the balls. So you're going into a posterior and an anterior tilt of your pelvis. And just allowing the balls to just gently release through those nasty QL muscles, yeah? And you can keep going there, or if you can do it without too much trouble, I'm going to take the balls a little bit wider. And then again, allowing the pelvis to rock over the top. And then in this position, you might also like to take a little roll side to side. Okay, then let's go to our glutes. So we're going to start with the ball, one on each side. Towards the top third of your glutes, working from obviously the top to the bottom, right in the center of each butt cheek. And then just taking a few deep breaths, allowing your muscles to melt over the top of the balls. And then we'll add a nice slow and controlled leg lift. So as you breathe in, lift one knee up above your hip. And then as you breathe out, with control, lowering your foot all the way to the floor. So we breathe in and lift the other leg up. And breathe out, lowering down. Yeah, so inhale to lift. And exhale, lower. Left. Well, one more with each leg. Okay. Now take the balls down just a tiny bit, but out a little bit wider. Down and a tiny bit wider. And then again, just taking a second to melt, using your breath. And then bring your feet so that they're touching each other. We'll open one thigh bone out to the side and then use your whole inner thigh to draw back in. Open your other thigh bone out to the side. And think of your inner thigh and pelvic floor, drawing that thigh bone up. Alternating sides, and we're trying to keep our pelvis flat so that you're not tipping over as your thigh bone opens. Open out. And drawing in. Thinking of sinking your thigh bone really heavy into your hip socket, especially as you're drawing your thigh bone back up. Let's do one more. And then take your feet a little bit apart again, and we're just going to take a little roll from side to side. Okay. Then, sit up for a second. You're going to take the balls where your leg and your bottom meet. So right at that insertion point of your hamstrings. Okay. Sitting up nice and tall. And then Just gonna lengthen one leg out, pressing down into the ball a little, and then bend back in. And stretching the other leg out, screwing it back in. So the more that you can sit up over the top of your pelvis, the more intense your release will be. For a slightly nicer, easier option, leaning back is a little more gentle. Then let's take one leg out long, and we just do a little roll of our thigh bone over the top of the ball. And then switch over to the other leg and rolling over. Okay. Now, a little spot that has been getting a little bit tight on lots of people because we've been home for so long and wearing like slippers and shoes or different footwear than what we're used to is this spot above our ankles on both sides. So you can, with the Franklin ball, you'll just need one. Otherwise, we're going to take two balls and slightly on a little diagonal across just above your ankle. Okay, and then you take your shin bone, your fibula, in between. Just roll a little bit up and down along the side there. If you're using your Makarlu, Sam, are you using Makarlu today? Yep. So take the two small domes and put them on the timber base in the bikini position, and then you can kind of rock and roll around it, and it feels really nice. You can roll up and down. You can hold your leg still and kind of use your leg like a rolling pin over the top of the balls or the Makarlu domes, whatever you've got handy. Just giving these muscles a little chance to reset. Let's have a go on the other side. Also got the rolling pin option. All right, and then so that I don't forget to do it, I'm going to do the inside. So you take your ball, two small Makarlu domes together will also work. Franklin ball will also work. You're going to come up to standing just quickly and place the ball in between your legs, just above your ankle. And we go into a little bit of a turned out position. And then you're going to press into the ball as you lift one heel off the floor. So the ball rolls up and down just a little. Then you take the ball up just a little. Have another go. Oh, maybe this gets a little more juicy up here. If you're not really feeling anything, try in parallel. That'll work. Just keep adjusting so you don't lose your ball, and we just slowly work our way up little by little. One more time. Okay, then we come back down and we can lie down again. That's the good news. We're going to release out through our chest, under our arm. So you can be sitting or lying down, whatever you like. Find your collarbone, and then we put whatever device you're using underneath. And we can massage around little circles, or you can press in and twist. That works. Yes, I was about to say, Catherine, you're going to go face down with the ball in that spot there and do some angel arms up and down on the carpet, palm facing down and also palm facing up. That's just a special one for Catherine because she has special magical Franklin balls at home. Okay. And the rest of us are just going to enjoy this crescent twist. You're going to go 2 or 3 times on each side, following that line under your clavicle. And I'm paying particular attention to any spots that feel like they need a little extra release. Alrighty. When you're finished with that, we're going to take our ball, whichever one it is, and put it, those 2 notches right here at the top of your sternum. Just going to go in the middle there with your ball. And this one's best done sitting up. It's also best done not with your whole face on camera because it looks a bit silly. So we're going to just hold the ball with the palm of our hand, and it's 2 things combined into one here. So one part of it is that we're going to gently sort of stretch the ball down our sternum, just very gently, light touch. At the same time, as we open our mouth really wide, pretend I've done that because I can't talk and do that at the same time. So mouth open really wide, then lift your face up to the ceiling, keeping your mouth open. And then as you close your mouth, that's when you're going to draw the ball down your sternum as you slowly close your mouth and return your head to upright. Okay? So I'll do it without talking. Right. So we open, tip your head back, hold your head tip back as you close your mouth, feel that stretch, and then stretch the ball down as you return your face to the front. Makes sense? Just do that 2 more times. Okay. And And another place that we might just like to do is just under your chin. You can feel the hard bit, and then right behind there's a little soft fleshy bit. So you can either get in there with your thumbs or with your ball or whatever you've got, and just do a little, gentle massage through there. So lots of us, because we've been wearing masks when we go out, getting really tight through our jaw, and this is where your tongue joins into your neck. So we just loosen that out. We're going to also just do the side of our face here. So you get 3 fingers. And just in front of your ear, you can feel your top jawbone and then your bottom one. You want to be just on the bottom jawbone and then just gently dragging down. Pressing as hard as you feel comfortable to press. And then we'll do the other side. Or keep going if you're doing both sides together. That was clever. I didn't think of that. Okay. So then from there, we are going to take a lie down on our sides. Grab some pillows if you want to support your head, so that your neck is nice and relaxed. And we're just going to take some chest openers. I'm just moving this so I can see you a little better. That's better. Okay. So you can have your arm out long. If you don't have pillows, make a pillow for yourself under your head. And then whichever one feels nicer for you, whether it's arm straight or bent, I don't mind. You know what feels good. We're going to lift our arm up to the ceiling and then keep that relationship between your arm and your shoulder and rib cage as you roll backwards. So the roll comes from your ribs. You take a breath in and then breathe out. Bring your ribs back to the front and your shoulder and your elbow. So lift up. And rotate through the rib cage. Try and pull your hips forwards a little more to increase that twist. Take a breath in. And then breathing out, coming back to the front. And again, we lift up. Roll back. Breathe in. And then come back to the front. And one more time, lifting. And rolling. Hold while you breathe in. And breathing out, come front. Okay. We're going to move our arm in our shoulder socket. So you have your arm long, palm facing the floor. Lift your arm up to the ceiling and rotate so that your palm faces overhead. And that rotation comes right from the top of your arm, not just from your hand. Then we lift our arm up so it comes up, touches our ear. Lift back to the ceiling. Rotate your whole arm. So palm faces down and then return. So we'll lift up. Rotate your humerus. Bring your arm up. Lift. Rotate and down. Whole arm twist to come up. Lift. And down. One more time. Over. Good. Okay. And while we're here, let's just take this top leg. Bring it up a little. You can keep it bent or you can straighten it out. And then we're going to take a nice big twist again, opening out with a straight arm behind you. And then turn to look at that back arm. So nice big spine twist. You can do whatever you want with this front leg, whether you bring it up a little higher with a bent knee, stretch the bottom leg out long, doesn't matter, just breathing into whatever shape you want that spine twist to be like, whatever feels good in your body. And then easing out of that a little, we're going to grab our balls again. And to transition over to the other side, we're going to lie face down with one ball on each quad, each leg. Now, just anywhere in the middle of each thigh is fine. And lie down with your forehead on the floor or on your pillow. Arms relaxed, just relaxing your body. Taking some nice deep breaths. Every breath out, going to allow the muscles in the front of your thighs just to relax a little bit more. Feels a little bit tricky to do if you've just done that bar class. Okay. So what you might like to do is just gently roll your thigh bones over the top of the balls, putting as much pressure into the balls as you feel comfortable with. And then coming so that you're centered over the top of the balls again. And then you can bend one or both knees at the same time and stretch your legs out long. Okay, then from there you can just roll over onto the other side. I'm going to flip around, but you can. And we'll do our chest openers. Knees are bent, arm in whichever position you like best. We lift up. Keep the relationship between your arm and your rib cage the same. Roll your rib cage backwards as you pull that top hip forwards. Take a big breath in and then breathe out. Come back to the front. So we lift up, roll back, breathe in and breathing out to the front. And one more time, lift. No, not one more, two more. Roll. Breathe in. And come back, and last one. Okay, stretch your arm down long, palm facing down. We lift up. Rotate your whole arm and take your arm up overhead. Lift, twist, and return. So we lift up, rotate, and come over. Lift, twist, and down. We're just freeing up some movement in our shoulder girdle here to help relieve tension that you might be feeling through your shoulders and or your neck. Let's do that one. And down. Okay. Then we take that spine twist, making it as delicious as you can. So whatever feels good in your body. You can take your leg up higher, you can stretch it out long. Turn and open out, looking behind you. Take some nice big deep breaths. And then coming back to the front. Now we're going to roll over onto our backs. You can still have your pillows if that's comfy for you. We're going to work our keyhole arm exercise. So we've got our arm reaching directly up, so your wrist is right above your shoulder. And then we just take our whole arm into external rotation and your whole arm into internal rotation. And just, you can use your opposite arm to help guide your humerus around. So we're twisting right from the top of your arm, not just from your hand, for this part of the exercise anyway. So you get that twist. Now we go all the way into external rotation. And then you're going to use that hand as a placeholder. So not grabbing on too tight, but just to encourage your top part of your arm to stay there. And then we pronate and supinate from our wrist. So we're rotating our hand and wrist one way and then the other. Like your fingers are a key in a lock. And we're trying to unlock the door or whatever it is, while maintaining that external rotation. So you might feel a little bit of a stretch in this one, particularly if you're really able to hold that external rotation in the upper arm. This is a great one for a bit of a stretch for mouse hand. It's also the foundation of a series of wrist work that we're going to be working on when we get back into the studio. Okay, shake that out. Let's do the other side. So the whole arm twists around and back. 2 more times. Okay, then go all the way into external rotation. Upper arm stays there, or the bottom half of your arm, so your wrist and your palm, pronate and supinate, and your upper arm stays externally rotated. Just doing a few more of these. Okay, and then laying your arms down by your side. Let's cross one ankle over the opposite knee. Flex that top foot, and we take your hands a little bit away from your hips, and we'll go into some nice gentle pretzel rocking side to side, just gently loosening out through our low backs. And let's take a pretzel stretch now. So center your pelvis in the middle. If you have a wall close by that you can access, if this one's tricky for you, just put your foot up on the wall. Otherwise, grab hold of this thigh bone and draw it in towards you. Yeah, so Paul, if you're using the wall, you're going to take your leg straight up, cross over, and then slide your leg down the wall until you feel the desired amount of stretch that you want. Okay, you take that foot down, switch over to the other side. Top foot is flexed and we pretzel rock first of all. And then coming to the center, going into your pretzel stretch. Okay, and then taking your foot down to the floor, we're going to go over onto our tummies. Here's some space so you've got room to stretch your arms and your legs out long. So we're going to have our arms reaching out. They can be shoulder width or a little bit wider apart, whatever feels comfortable for you. And then just take a second to settle your body so that you feel evenly balanced from left to right on the mat. You press gently down into the floor and glide your arms in towards you to lift your face and your sternum and just look forwards a little bit. And then glide your hands away from you as you lower your head and shoulders back down. Okay, so starting with a pretty small movement, just waking up through the muscles in the back of your neck and your upper back. Gently scoop our tummy a little bit in and up off the floor. Glide your shoulders down as your hands come in towards you. Lift your head and your sternum. And then return. As you're coming up, we're reaching our sternum forwards through our hands and lowering down. And up. And reaching away one more time. Lifting and lowering back down. All right. Then we're taking our arms to a bit of a goalpost position, slightly outside of your mat. Your elbows can be around about shoulder height, and your fingers are long. We scoop in and up through our tummy, and we're going to press down into the floor to come up into a full extension. So your legs are stretching really long, you've got your tailbone pulling forwards, and then bend your elbows and come back down. Good. So stretch your legs as long as they can go. Scoop your tummy up off the floor as you press your hands down to lift up and look forwards. Feel the back of your legs engaged, almost like they want to lift off the floor, but you're not letting them. Lift your head a little bit higher. Gorgeous. And then lowering down. Sam, if that's too much for you today on your arm, just go back to a more of a diamond press. Okay? All right. So we keep going with whatever thing is right for you today. Lifting up and lowering down. And we'll do one more time. And then we add our, I'm trying not to say delicious so much because there seems to be some controversy over what I think is delicious. Anyway, I think this one is delicious. It's the one where we pretend we're on a surfboard, and I think that's what's delicious about it, is that I can see the beach and the waves and all that. Okay, it also feels good too. So we're lying on our surfboard, and we can feel, I don't surf, so I don't know really how you tell that there's a wave coming, but there's a wave coming. And we're going to push down with one hand and look up behind us to see if the wave is worth catching. Okay, so you're going into extension with rotation. The other arm stays down on the floor, and then we return. And now we're going to push down with the other hand, extending that arm, coming into our extension, and look behind us. How's that wave looking? And then we lower back down. And changing arms again. We push, look up, behind your shoulder, and then come down. And the other side, press down to lift up and look. And back. We'll do one more of those on each side. And down. And lift up and look. And down. Okay. Let's just take a minute to push back into our rest position. Stretching out this way. And then we lie down on our tummies again. This next one, we're aiming to stretch our whole front line of our body and work the whole back line of our body. So we're going to start grabbing hold of your feet. Now, if this is a bit tricky of a position, you could get your loop band and stick that around your feet and hold on to the band instead of your feet. Okay, so that just gives you a little extra room, might make it more achievable in some bodies. Okay, we're holding on to our band or our feet. We scoop into our tummy to lift our tummy off the floor. And then think of lifting your chest, your feet are pressing up into your hands, your head is lifting, and your thigh bones lift up away from the floor. So you might even get a stretch through your quads, and working all through the back of our body, and stretching the front, and then lower back down. Then we do it again. We scoop our tummy, press into our hands, press into our feet, and lift up, and lower back down. And let's do one more of those. Pressing and lifting. Oh, lift, lift, lift. Opening up through your chest. And then lower down. And press back into the rest position. Stretching out the other way. I think I've lost the will to live. Okay. I wore myself out today. Here we go. Taking a nice stretch. All right. So we've got our arms at about shoulder width, maybe slightly wider. Really pull forwards with your fingers and back with your sit bones to get as much out of the stretch as you can. And take your right hand, pick it up and put it on top of your left hand. And pull your right sit bone back on an opposite diagonal to your fingertips. You might feel that stretch increase down the right side of your back a little, particularly if you can work to square your shoulders to the mat a little tiny bit. And then take your arms back out to that shoulder width position. And your left hand comes up on top of your right. Drop your left shoulder back down towards the floor and reach back through your left hip. Take some nice deep breaths. Okay, and coming back to center one more time. Drawing forwards into your quadruped position. from here, we're just going to take a stretch for our hip flexors. So we step one foot in between our hands as gracefully as you can manage. It's not so graceful for me right now. You can take that back knee back a little bit further if you want to. You also, because we're at home, have the option of putting a cushion under your back knee if you'd like. Now we're going to try and square our hips to the floor. See if you can send your tailbone down towards your feet, so lengthening through your low back, and feel how that might have opened out through the front of your hips if you're particularly tight. If you need a little bit more, we can bring our hands up on top of our thigh bone, keep that length of your tailbone running down towards your back heel as you bring your body more upright into a long lunge position. Okay, now because hip flexors get tight sitting too much, hamstrings also get tight sitting too much. So from here, what we're going to do is flex this front foot. You might need to bring your hands down to the floor. That's okay. We flex that front foot, so lift your forefoot off the floor, shoot your hips backwards, aiming to sort of straighten out through the front of this leg. Depends how bendy you are, how much straightness you can get there. But you go to wherever you can feel the stretch in the back of your thigh. All right, and then bend forwards so that we can spring that leg back and switch over to the other side. So we're going to go forwards. Start with hands down on the mat. Square your pelvis so that both hip bones are facing forwards. And then we try and tuck the tailbone down the back of our legs, feeling the front of your thighs start to open out. If you want to, you can come up with your hands on top of your thighs, but without losing any of that drawing down of your tailbone. Stretching into your hip flexors. You want to also just have a quick sneak peek to see that your foot and your knee on that back leg are lined up in a straight line, like you're on railway tracks. Okay. And when you've had enough of that, take your hands on the floor. Start traveling your hips backwards, flexing your foot until you feel a stretch through the back of your thigh. As you can see, there's a big difference in my body from one side to the other. And that's all right. We love and accept our bodies wherever they're at right now. Good. And then bending that front knee again. Flip it back. I'm going to come up to standing just to finish off with a couple of roll downs. So standing up, you're going to have your feet in parallel and your knees nice and soft. Knees soft and arms just flopping down by your sides. Okay, grow your spine up nice and tall. Then as you breathe out, tuck your chin down towards your chest, roll your spine forwards, allow your arms to hang down, rolling as far forwards as you're comfortable to. At the bottom, take a breath in and then breathing out. Start with your tailbone dropping down towards the floor, rolling through your low back, mid back, and upper back. Standing tall, take a big breath in and then breathing out to roll back down again. Arms are heavy. Good. Head is heavy. Breathing in at the bottom and breathing out to go back up again. And there you have it. You are cooked for Saturday. Good job, everybody.